Hello, everybody. Warm welcome. Welcome back to those who already attended a few meetings and who realize that we're now at the 8th presentation of the day. Yes, time flies, but no worries. Lunch is just within reach. This is the last meeting before the lunch break. During the next 30 minutes, you will be able to gain insights into Dr. Höhnle AG. The company will be presented by Robert Stark, its CFO. And before I waste any more of your time, Robert, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Holger, and thank you also for the hint that all attendees are waiting for lunch after this presentation. I will give my best to be in time. So warm welcome from my side. I'm Robert Stark, the CFO of the Höhnle Group. So it is great to be with you at this digital high-tech conference. And today I will show you how Höhnle brings UV technology from lab to line. We are turning complex bonding, curing, disinfection steps into a fast, clean, and scalable industrial process. I will also walk you through our financial profile, the progress we've made in a tough market, and why we believe Höhnle is well positioned to grow profitably and sustainably. So let's begin and jump in. First of all, to our market and our technologies, what we serve, where we are into. Secondly, to our business development, some key figures and KPIs. And then I will talk a little bit about our outlook, where we have USPs, where we are heading to, and what our future will look like, hopefully. Let's start who we are. Höhnle basically is a market leader in industrial UV technology with basically two core technologies. We have the UV lamps and equipment, as well as the UV curable adhesives. That means we have the physical side with the equipment, and we have the chemical side with the adhesives. These two core technologies will be delivered through three business units. That's adhesive systems, curing, and disinfection. And all of them are serving our 6 primary markets, which are electronics, automotive, medical, food and water, printing, and surface treatment. And that integrated scope is intentional, so it lets us solve entire processes and not just sell parts. Why UV wins, or why UV is special in our point of view. UV processing often outpaces conventional methods because it offers a short processing time, superior results, minimal heat input, and less waste. It also supports ESG goals. So there are no solvents. We are avoiding toxic chemicals in the field of disinfection. We have, through the LED technology, reduced energy consumption, and our results are basically for surface treatment, for example, long-lived and very scratch resistant. And that combination, we have better performance, better sustainability, is very powerful across our served markets, which include involving segments like consumer electronics, automotive electronics, very advanced surface curing, disinfection, and last but not least, medical engineering, which is also a very, very interesting field. And we are not new to this. We are not a startup. Höhnle brings 50 years of process and technology know-how to the field, spanning UV lamps, components, systems, and adhesives. Our 3 business units are built basically on a one-stop shop for solutions. So we are focused on the customer process, the customer demand, rather than just selling a single product. And that's a recurring theme you will hear today and throughout the whole presentation. A quick snapshot to our figures. We are now in the last 2 weeks of our fiscal year, so our year is ending on the end of September. We have a sales guidance of 92 to 94 million euro with an EBITDA of 5 to 6 million, supported by around about 580 employees across more than 20 locations worldwide. We have installed more than 100,000 units worldwide, globally. Market capitalization is around about 50 million right now. And our revenue is very balanced out across the 3 segments. Adhesive systems with 35%, same level as curing, 35%. The disinfection a little bit lower of 30%. But more of the financial performance I will talk later too. I will jump through our 3 business units. What is our product portfolio? Which markets do we address? What are the dynamics into there? So first of all, the adhesive systems. Our product portfolio spans UV curing adhesives. We have epoxies, we have acrylates. What is for electronics very interesting, electrically and thermally conductive adhesives. For the medical industry, CMR-free formulations, and the suitable curing equipment to run them at scale. Core applications include, as already mentioned, electronic consumer devices, electronic packaging, medical engineering, optics, and automotive engineering. In practice, this means we can bond, we can encapsulate, we can protect components with a fast tech precision placement and a high reliability. And yeah, then validate the results in line through special methods. For example, think of camera modules, sensors, batteries, displays, sealed medical assemblies. These are all areas where throughput and thermal effects are very tight, and the failure cost is high at this field. So UV curable chemistries plus our hardware can accelerate this throughput without baking the product in the end. And that's interesting. So we are not bringing any heat into the process right now. So we are a provider of specialty adhesives. Our competitors are not Henkel, H.B. Fuller. They serve a mass market and high volumes. We provide special solutions in a niche market, which is for us big enough to grow substantially. Our second business unit is the business unit curing. We deliver the entire spectrum of UV curing. So we have UV curing equipment with our UV LED curing equipment, infrared units, UV dose measurement, and we are serving the printing industry. So the sheet fed industry was our legacy business for the whole group. So the trend is more going into high quality packaging, more than sheet fed. We have coatings for different types of surfaces. Films and labels is an increasing market, and we have some add-on services like the inline measurement of UV dose for quality controls. So the proposition in this field is very simple. It's a full leading technology with quality control, so that you can get the exact UV dose the chemistry requires. So that makes it in the end consistently, safety, efficiently, and as mentioned, we are facing a shift in the customer base. So there's less sheet fed printing dynamic in the market, but the markets are growing in the high quality packaging, printing, and labeling, which are showing a growth potential. For the disinfection, decontamination for water, air, surfaces, we cover the full spectrum. So we have LEDs, we have in our product portfolio low pressure, medium pressure UV lamps, as well as very high intensive pulse light xenon LEDs. These all are added with microbiological quality analysis. So we have a microbiological lab for analysis in France. The applications range from ballast water, drinking process water, to industrial air disinfection, surface treatment, photolysis in the pharmacy, and which are steps in advanced manufacturing. Customers choose UV disinfection because it is chemical free, it is scalable and effective across a wide range of organisms. As you can imagine, you cannot handle with chemistry if you are working with ballast water and get the water out of the sea. You will see it in the figures later on. This segment right now shows the highest market dynamic. We have a completed and a unique product portfolio, and there are new applications like ultra pure water in semiconductor fabs, as well as new markets for us in the field of emerging markets. That means the emphasis of clean water is increasing in countries where the population is growing, for example, like India. Some words to our business development. As already mentioned, we are in the last 2 weeks of our fiscal year. So the last or the latest published figures are our 9-month Q3 figures. This year has been mixed. Q3 sales with around about 23 million came a little bit below our expectations. We had a challenging market environment in the adhesives. Nevertheless, the 9-month figures were a little bit shy of 70 million with a 3.6 million EBITDA. Even though we had a positive, it's a low volume, but it's a positive operating cash flow of 3.7 million in this period. Curing was robust with a significantly increased EBITDA due to executed cost-cutting measures. Disinfection, as mentioned, advanced with an EBITDA up to 80% year-over-year. And our full year outlook remains for 92 to 94 million in sales and an EBITDA of 5 to 6 million. How this shows up into our 3 business units. We have our adhesive systems with sales of nearly 25 million, EBITDA 2.5 million, which is very below our expectations and potential what is in this field. We saw a continued weakness in the automotive industry, with lower order volumes, some delayed new projects. In the consumer electronics, there were, regarding the US tariffs, some shifts in the value chains in Asia, which impacted our sales. We had an internal relocation of a production site, and all of these factors weighed on our earnings. On the curing, we had sales of nearly 26 million, EBITDA of still negative, minus 1.2 million. But we see that our initiated cost-cutting measures are now getting traction and showing first positive results. So we are very confident to get this business unit profitable in the next fiscal year. For the disinfection, 90 million in sales, EBITDA 2.3 million. Very good contributions from ballast water, the food industry, and the first orders and first sales in the ultra pure water segment. So these results underscore kind of the resilience of our product portfolio, and that's an important mix as we transition through the cycle. Some words to our capital structure. We have an equity ratio of 52%, reflecting a robust capital structure. We're generating positive operating cash flows over the period, and we reduced the usage of our credit lines. That means that the financing cash flow is kind of high. And overall, our net financial debt is trending down over the long term, and the debt position includes mainly investments in our company buildings, which we built before the Corona pandemic, and these are very favorable and long-term secured liabilities. To our outlook, our strategy is to definitely to become one and a true one-stop shop for critical UV processes. That means bringing customer advisory, adhesives, dispensing, UV curing, measurement, lab analysis under one roof. This reduces supplier friction for customers and compresses their time to qualification. And that's what deepens our target. When we spec the chemistry and the hardware and the measurement, we own the validated process window, and that's a very sticky business we want to rely on. What or where we are investing next? So in the adhesive systems, we are expanding our product range in electronics, in the medical and optics, with a focus on UV curing adhesives, because this is our USP. So customers get a single engineered solution. We are also stepping up activity, definitely in China and in North America. These are fields which were in the past not really where we did not well worked on, and to be closer there to the key electronics ecosystem, and be more closer to the decision makers in this field. For the curing, we will intensify our focus on packaging, printing, and labeling. We offer the full technology suite like UV, LED, infrared, with integrated process control using the UV dose measurement. So as we speak, we are currently showing a new product right now at the Label Expo in Barcelona, to address the label market very clearly and aggressively. For the disinfection, Our unique offering spans the full range of luck reduction. So we have a luck reduction with our products from luck 1 to luck 6, plus the microbiological quality control. So we are targeting also new applications like the ultra pure water for semiconductors, molecule modification in the pharma industry, and we are steering growth in India. So where water infrastructure and advanced manufacturing are both scaling, that's happening in India right now. For the financial outlook, sure, we have 2 weeks left, so I can really easily reiterate our guidance of 92 to 94 million with the EBITDA of 5 to 6 million. Our plan is clearly to convert cost actions into margin. We need to re-accelerate the adhesives and to compound the growth in curing and disinfection, where the demand is good. And our technology fit is also very high. To summarize why we believe Hönle is an attractive small cap technology opportunity. Just 4 short points from my side. From our point of view, we are firstly very mission critical. So UV is becoming a standard in many processes where the demand is for speed, precision, cleanliness, compliance. There we have a very strong ESG profile and are positioned very well. Secondly, the process ownership, which is integrated. So we have the chemistry, the equipment, the measurement, the service stack. And that's very hard to displace once you are validated on the customer side. So that creates really stickiness, recurring revenue, and also attractive returns with our high installed base. Third point, we have a balanced portfolio and a global reach. We have these 3 business units. We serve the concrete end markets with over 20 locations. So that helps us to capture also localized opportunities. And what we also showed in the curing business unit, where we are not in the end or finalized, we have an operational discipline. So we've acted hard in the last years on our costs, on our organizational structure. And therefore we have a very good equity ratio, declining financial debt, and I think it's a good position to fund growth without overreaching. So far from my side, thank you very much for your time. I would welcome your questions, and we'll hand over back to Holger.
Thank you, Robert. Thanks for the insights. There are a few questions that have been entered already, and given the time, I think this will certainly suffice. Let me start out with something that you announced over the weekend, and we had a call on that already yesterday, and that's the change at the helm of the company. The CEO is leaving, and the head of the supervisory board will step in as new CEO, potentially temporary CEO. Can you elaborate just briefly on what the reasons for that decisions were and the implications? And one question regarding the implications directly is whether or not that means that you are still underlining the targets that you presented at the Capital Market Day earlier.
Yes. As you mentioned very correctly, we had the call yesterday with Dr. Richter to answer these kind of questions. For sure, there are strategic differences between the supervisory board and Mr. Arendt as CEO. So there was a kind of a lack of execution. The business was developing sideways, and there was a clear missing of a push for the future to reach these goals which were set it. We need to mention clearly there are no implications on our long-term goals. So that was a move from the supervisory board to reach them. There will be no complete turnaround of our strategy. The focus is now get the work done, get it executed, and work on the right technology and on the right priorities.
Thank you. Coming to more operational issues, some questions regarding the adhesives business. One of them is whether you still, and you elaborate on that a little bit already, if you still see growth and earnings potential in the adhesive business, and going along with that question, if you plan to expand your integrated model of adhesives and curing technology, and how sustainable do you view that strategy, especially as industry dynamics and competition evolve in that space?
Yeah, sure. So adhesives in our long-term strategy, and that's also the market dynamic, and that's very substantial. Also, what we hear from competitors, that's a very attractive field. So we will have a lot more digitalization, a lot more automation. The whole artificial intelligence will be integrated in hardware, and this will lead to more products where the demand of specialty adhesives is growing. So we see the potential in the electronics. In the short term, we are being aggressive in the medical field. We have there very good formulations in the portfolio. So we see the growth potential, and definitely the earnings you saw earlier in my presentation do not reflect the potential. So we in the past, in the years 2018, 2019, we had a really big sales with Apple. So this was a one-time shot, but nevertheless, it also shows this is not our target market, but it shows that we can perform. We have the product, we have the visibility in the market, and the margins are much more attractive than the 2.x million you saw in these numbers right now in this fiscal year. So and a sustainable EBITDA margin of around about 25% is in reach, and that's also something we already showed in the past.
Thank you. This kind of leads us to a recent restructuring that you've done. Are there any items that have not been tackled by cost cutting, or do you see any risks that additional cost cutting might be needed in some areas that are not fully lean yet? And on the other hand, going forward, do you plan, and that goes along with that, additional restructuring maybe at some point, or even portfolio adjustments to reach profitability to the extent that you envision as reasonable?
So portfolio adjustments are completed. So in the last 3 years, we worked on our organization, and that's something also Franz Richter implemented here. So we are running with our 3 business units since 2 years. So he initiated the new segmentation. With that, we divested in small companies, in products which are not in the core UV and not brings us to our strategy goals. So we had, I think, 3 or 4 companies we divested in the last years, and therefore to answer the question clearly, we are done with our product portfolio adjustments. For the cost-cutting measures, for sure, we faced the challenge that the business unit curing was negative. We initiated the first round of cost-cutting measures. The full potential will be shown in the next fiscal year, and it depends how our top line will be in the upcoming year. So if we don't see that the top line is coming as expected for whatever reason, then for sure we will evaluate for further measures. But as of now, the signs are, in my point of view, kind of positive. What our order income, our order books are saying, so that we will achieve our next year's figures, and hopefully not to do further cost-cutting measures.
Thank you. It brings us to the last question, which is a very specific question, and I'm going to read it. The company Intelligo shows great success with UV dosimeters. Do you also have dosimeters in your product portfolio?
Yes. So we have a cooperation. We have a cooperation with a company here in Germany, Proof. This is also published. For sure, we have this value add service we are providing since this year with our label. This is a part of our product portfolio. It is important for our lifecycle solutions team. Therefore, concrete, yes, we have it in the portfolio, and we serve it with our business unit curing.
Thank you very much. That completes the Q&A session. Robert, appreciate the insights that you have shared with us. I appreciate everybody staying with us right before the lunchtime. So I don't want to keep you up any longer, and wish you a great lunch. Robert, thanks for once again answering all the questions. And for those of you who want to return after lunch at 2 p.m., we have Heidelberger Druck, and I just posted the link to that event in the chat box. Have a good lunch, everybody. Thank you.